Hi, welcome to Jennifer Beckstrand's 10-Minute Book Club. Tonight I'm interviewing a new author. Her name is Jana Perkins, and she writes Regency romances, some with a little bit of mystery. So I know you're going to love hearing about it. And we're going to be talking about her other book, Crimson Leaves, Death of an Earl. I know you're going to love hearing about it. Maggie and Max is now on audiobook, and most of my books are on audiobook, so go check them out. I know you're going to love it. And as always, if you have not been to my website, please go and sign up for my newsletter because you can download a free copy of a cute, really funny romantic comedy called Dandelion Meadows Christmas Kisses. And yes, it is a Christmas book, but you will love reading it any time of the year. And now I'm really, really excited to introduce you to Jana Perkins. Jana, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jennifer.
I am so excited that you're here. This is just great. I love meeting authors that I haven't read before and just hearing your story. So I know my readers are going to be really excited about that too. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Me and my husband, we live in Spanish Fork, and I homeschool three girls. It's a lot of work, but I do love it. And we have a dog. His name is Cooper, and he is so much trouble, but we love him too. So that's a little bit about me.
And how did you get into writing?
Um, that's a funny story. About a year and a half ago. So I did not know that I wanted to be a writer actually. Um, my husband likes to write. He's a beautiful writer. And so I was trying to make some money on the side so I could still homeschool my kids. And man, I'm like nervous. I'm nervous about this. Um, so I had seen this ad about writing, and I was like, I'm gonna have my husband do this. And then I thought about the fact that he's been writing a book for 12 years and it's still not done. So I was like, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. So I decided I would give it a shot, and I just fell in love with it. It was like consuming everything. Like I loved I love characters and getting to know my characters. I know that sounds really funny, but it's like a whole world that I create, and it just yeah, I just really loved it. So it started about a year and a half ago.
And so you thought, okay, this is a good way to make extra money. That's that's a great
And it didn't
way to
turn
get
out to be
into
like that. That's by the end I was like, okay, this isn't necessarily something I'm doing for the money now because that's not usually how it works. But regardless, I just loved it. I just fell in love with it. I got into some really good writing groups, and I had a lot of really good support. So that's how it started. That's not how it ended. If that makes sense.
it.
I'm not writing for the money anymore. I'm just writing because I really love it, and it's been good for me too because where I do homeschool, it gives me something else I can do.
That's great. So tell me about your books. Have you got two out?
So I have Crimson Leaves, Death of an Earl, which is basically it's one book, but it's split into two parts. And then I have
Okay.
a novella that I wrote called A Kiss in the Dark.
Okay. And
Yeah.
they're historical.
Yeah, so they're both of them are Regency romance, and they are sweet romance. Um, Crimson Leaves, Death of an Earl. It's sweet romance, but it's also got some cozy mystery. I would say there's more romance than there is mystery. Towards the end of part two, I would say that the romance is still sweet, but it gets a little bit more steamy sweet. I don't know if that's a thing. I feel like it's a little bit more exciting or a little more passionate on the sweet side. And then I feel like the mystery towards the end of part two also gets a little bit more intense. It's not so cozy anymore. Not
Okay.
that it's bad, but it is a little bit more like it's intense towards
Intense.
the end of the mystery. So Crimson Leaves, we have two nearly identical gentlemen that have grown up together. They're not brothers, but they look basically identical, and they have grown up in the same household. And they find out that their father has been murdered, so they decide to go to London to investigate. But they feel like their personalities would be best to help uncover this murder if they were to switch places. So they switch places and they set all these rules And of course, the most important one is that they don't fall in love while they're in disguise, but of course they do. So you follow 5 different perspectives from first person past,
Okay.
and you follow Henry and Charles who have switched places, and then you follow 2 sisters, Jane and Lily, and then you also follow a butler's perspective, Henry and Charles's butler. And so it's like the mystery unfolds while their relationships unfold too, if you will. And they 2 of the couples. So I wanted to write this book so that you had a slow burn enemies to lovers trope, which is my favorite trope. But I'm also a little impatient sometimes, and I'm like, I want the romance right out of the gate, which doesn't work with a slow burn enemies to lovers. And so I have 2 complete love stories, which is why it ended up being so big. But we have a fast paced, mysterious romance that basically hits the ground running with Lily and Charles. And then you have the slow burn enemies to lovers that happens with Jane and Henry. So it's kind of nice because you have both of them that kind of can feed each person's love trope, I guess you
Yeah.
could say.
Yes.
And so
Satisfy everybody.
exactly. I'm hard to satisfy, and I was writing to satisfy me. So I wanted those 2 different love tropes in there so that you can have your fast-paced one right out of the
Are
gate.
you going to write any more, do you think?
Yes. So Crimson Leaves will be it's the first of a 4 series book or 4 series
A book
collection.
series?
It'll be my Crimson Seasons.
Okay.
So I'm currently working on Crimson Snow, and then I'll have Crimson Rain, and then Crimson Sun will be last.
Okay.
But I wrote them originally so that they could be standalone novels. But as I've been writing Crimson Snow, I realized no, you have to read them in order because if you read Crimson Snow, then all of the plot points from Crimson Leaves will just be ruined. Villains that
Yeah,
come into
that makes
the
sense.
second book, and so I'm like, oh well. So I know for sure you would need to read Crimson Leaves and Crimson Snow in order. Crimson Rain may be able to be a standalone novel, but there's also characters that you've been like reading from Crimson Leaves and Crimson Snow that are now going to be the main focus in the next one. So I'm like, honestly, they probably all should just be read in
Put
order.
in order. Might as well, right? Well,
Yeah.
so is that one in process, Crimson Snow?
Yes. So I have 8 chapters written of Crimson
Oh,
Snow so
great. Well,
far.
readers, you'll definitely want to go check that out. That sounds like such a wonderful, really fun book. I like that enemies to lovers trope too.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
So what is your one of your favorite romantic movies? So we get a flavor for kind of what you love to
Um,
watch.
I I do. This is so cliche, but I really do love Pride and Prejudice, and I also love While You Were Sleeping. Those are like
Oh, yeah.
some of my just keep going back to, and I love both of those.
We talked about that at the library when we were at that event. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
those two are like iconic. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially Pride and Prejudice. I mean,
Yep.
you don't get any better than that. So,
Yes.
what version of Pride and Prejudice do you like?
Ooh, that's hard. I actually do love both the version with like Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden or however you say his name, and
Mhm.
then the old Colin Firth one. I also love that one. I feel like both of them, if I'm in the mood for watching something and I have a long time, I'll go with the longer one. If I'm just like, I just need it short and sweet and get all the excited feels, then I'll watch the shorter one. But those are the 2 I gravitate towards.
Yeah, me too. I really loved, I mean, the Colin Firth one for me is my favorite, but I did really like that Keira Knightley one. It just felt like Pride and Prejudice in fast motion, but the
Yeah.
production value was so beautiful, and you kind of filled in the blanks because, well, at least for me, I know the story so well. I filled in the blanks, and it was cast beautifully. Yeah, I really like that one too.
Yes. And I love the music in it. It's like it feels like Pride and Prejudice. That's the best way to say it. The music feels it's perfect for it.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
good. Well, okay, here is your last question. Stuck on
You're,
a desert island, what three things would you take with you?
this is going to sound funny. So I can take anything, right?
Yeah.
So I would take an airplane that has enough gas in it to get back. I would bring a pilot that's, you know, able to fly the plane, and I'd bring a really good book for the flight home. I know that's kind of cheating, but
I love it. That's, that
it's
tells me how
cheating.
your mind thinks. That's cheating on the test, but that's okay because if it gets you back to civilization, there you go. Well, Jana, thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun and just a pleasure meeting you and meeting, for my readers to see a new author. So readers, go check out Crimson Leaves, Death of an Earl.